while the Minnesota Twins were losing. I tried to tell you this last night. I've been trying to tell you it for weeks. I told Matt McCarthy, he didn't want to listen. They're not dead yet. You may not believe in them, but do not confuse them being dead with you being disinterested. Those are two different things. 617-779-0985. Red Sox now 3 games out of the wild card. Despite the fact that they don't seem to play their regulars, they don't want to use their closer in a non-save situation, even if it's a tie game, whatever it is, and even so, they're hanging around. And if you want to say they're hanging around because there aren't enough good teams in the American League and the Minnesota Twins can't put them away, well, that's fine. I agree. But the fact of the matter is, incredibly, they are still in the race. I'm not even sure Alex Cora can believe it yet. And let me just say, because I was ranting and raving last night about the fact that in a game on Sunday, the Red Sox had a 2-2 tie in the bottom of the 8th inning against the Chicago White Sox, who are quite literally the worst team in history. No hyperbole, no exaggeration. When this season is over, the Chicago White Sox are going to be the worst team in the history of baseball. The Red Sox are tied 2-2. They have 2 relievers up in the bottom of the 8th inning. One is Zach Kelly. The other is Kenley Jansen. Alex Cora explains after the game that Jansen was up in the event the Red Sox took a lead in the bottom of the 8th. It was a save situation. The game remained tied. Cora brought in Kelly. The White Sox scored 5 runs. The Red Sox lost the game. The the Minnesota Twins also lost, meaning had the Red Sox won, they'd have been 3 games out going into last night when they then walloped the Orioles, meaning they would be 2 games out now because the Twins lost again. So I think that Jansen not being used in that game looks worse today than it did yesterday. And people, I put this on Twitter today that I still want an answer for why Kenley Jansen did not pitch in that game on Sunday. And, among the responses I got, one was, well, maybe he wasn't feeling great. Why did he get up and warm up? So he felt well enough to come in a save situation, but he didn't feel well enough to come in if the game were tied. Someone has to explain that one to me still. Ideally, I would like it to be Jansen himself or someone from the Red Sox. They gave away the game, which leads me to today's question. And I'll get to Cora here in a minute, what he said last night after the win. But serious question. Jimmy Stewart, I'd be curious to get your answer too. Do you think they want to make the playoffs?
I think they did, and now I'm not so sure.
So that's a good way to put it. At one point, I think they wanted to make it. I think Cora was intent on, hey, we have a shot. He was selling his team on the message, let's get greedy. Then things started to go bad in Detroit, the Cooper Criswell game, as we call it. Pulled Cooper Criswell after 4 perfect innings. They went to the Mets. They got swept there. Cora sounded downright distraught when they were leaving New York. We're a 500 team. It happens.
Cassis has taken too many mental swings.
I mean, I seriously wonder whether at this stage they just want the season to end. Like if you go back to ownership and management and what they wanted out of this season, and I would tell you, let's go back to Dan Shaughnessy's favorite term, the illusion of contention. They have it. They have the illusion of contention. They have it right now. There are 18 games left. They're 3 games out. Most fans don't believe that the Red Sox are going to get into the playoffs. And those fans might be right. If you're one of those people that believes that, I'm not dumping on you necessarily. You might be right. You're probably right. They're 73 and 71. They're as ordinary overall as ordinary can be. Their run differential in 144 games is +3, which means it's basically even. So there is nothing to suggest to you that they are somehow a team that is going to fight its way into the playoffs and then do something when they get there. I agree with you on that. So the fact that they're in it is a borderline miracle. It is a borderline miracle. Cora himself admitted as much last night. Jimmy, go ahead.
It's been a while since he had a night like that.
We've been doing a better job against lefties. We did it against Crochet the other day. Today that was good. Maybe this is the way we play the rest of the season. Kind of like platoon the rest of the way and try to maximize the roster. Be aggressive with pitch hitters and all that, and see where it takes us. We're right there, still right there. So I don't know how, but they show up every day, they work hard, and they did an amazing job offensively today.
Jimmy, just that last little bit. Can we play it again? We're still there. We're still right there. I don't know how. They've done an amazing job. Just that last little section. Let's play it again.
We're right there, still right there. So I don't know how, but they show up every day, they work hard, and they did an amazing job offensively today.
So let me tell you what happens during a baseball season. And you already know a lot of this, but I'm going to remind you. Because most of you aren't watching. You've written them off, which is why you don't believe that they're in it. Because you don't want them to be in it. Because if you did, you'd be paying attention. And I'm not, again, don't take this as necessarily me ripping you for not caring. But you don't. If you did, you'd be watching and you're not watching. So now if they would get in, all of a sudden it's like, I got to give my attention to this. And you don't feel that they're worthy of your attention, so you're not digging in. I don't blame you. I have to do it out of necessity, at least partially, if not fully. And I will admit, I have my doubts too, but I have to keep tabs, at least on some level. Do I think they're going to get into the playoffs and make any noise? No. But what happens during the course of the baseball season sometimes is really Refsnyder. 2 home runs last night. Tyler O'Neill, 2 home runs last night. They went back-to-back twice. Those two guys. I played Refsnyder because last week when Jared Carabas was here, and we got into the discussion about Rafael Devers not speaking with the media after the game, and then Devers left the clubhouse, Jared made the point that the Red Sox don't really have a leader. There wasn't anyone in the clubhouse that was a, I'll use the word spokesman after team losses the way that Xander Bogaerts used to be, or somebody that, to me, the whole idea of a spokesman, this comes off as a media discussion. It's not a media discussion. It's about who the fans identify with to give them the state of the team. What the team is feeling, how the team is going to deal with it. Someone speaks for the team. Bogaerts was that guy. They don't have one now. Carabas said, well, it's probably Refsnyder. Think about that for a second. Rob Refsnyder is the guy who's communicating to the fan base, other than Cora. And I got nothing against Refsnyder. Everything I've heard, he's a good guy. He's played his role well. He's a part-time player. He plays against lefties 30% of the time, 35% of the time, whatever it is. And he's played more this year because they've used him against right-handed batters. But he's not what you'd call a centerpiece staple of a franchise. Hardly. He's kind of a transient, a nomad. He's been here for a little while. But that's the face of the Red Sox. That's the guy that's talking, giving you the state of the team when they're 3 out with 18 to go. I'm telling you, deep down, I don't think they want to go to the playoffs. Maybe some of the players do. I don't mean that. I'm talking about organizationally. Jimmy, if they were in it, let's just say they were 3 up on the Twins instead of 3 down. Okay? Do you think Tristan Casas would be getting a night off? Or there'd be any question about Tanner Houck pitching this weekend? Or any of that?
I would hope the answer is no, that they'd be all in. Casas plays, Tanner's pitching on his scheduled day. I would hope that. But I'm not sure because they'd be like, oh, well, we might need to rest them for the playoffs.
See, I think they've already made up their mind that we're going to shut it down. They're playing for the long term. And so Tanner Houck's health and well-being, not that it wasn't more important before, but if it's a fatigue issue, a wear and tear issue, as opposed to elbow inflammation, you follow me, he's just tired, he'd pitch. Of course he'd pitch. And the big one, again, I come back to Sunday. Tie game. Going into the 9th inning. You're at home, meaning there is no more save. You can't get a save once you go to the 9th in a tie game at home. We all know that. So now, Kenley Jansen's unavailable? You've got to be kidding me. That one to me put me over the edge on Sunday. I thought, that is deplorable. The one thing you're supposed to do is keep